Traffic is heavy and trains are full on the last day of the Tomb Sweeping Festival holiday. Shanghai and Nanjing ban live poultry sales as 2 more bird flu cases are reported this evening. And diplomats are not rushing to leave North Korea despite Pyongyang's advice to consider it. Good evening and welcome to this edition of Shanghai Live. I'm your host, Zhang Jieing. Shanghai area roads, trains and buses were crowded again today as the 3-day Tomb Sweeping Festival comes to an end. And the city's railway authority has expecting a 10% increase in the number of passengers compared with last year's holiday. Dai Qian has more.
To avoid a crowd of departing passengers earlier this week, some local people just took a one-day trip today for tomb sweeping. One said he had worried about getting back to the city.
I bought the return tickets earlier, just in case all the tickets were sold out and I couldn't return home in time.
The city's railway transport managers predicted nearly 5.7 million people would take trains during the festival, more than any other mainland city, with the heaviest ridership ending just about now.
The busiest period will start at 3 p.m. and run until after 9 p.m. Many passengers will return to the city during that period.
And local road managers say road traffic in and out of the city is up by 20% from last year's Tomb Sweeping Festival, thanks in part to suspending tolls for small cars this year.
I returned very early today to avoid possible congestion. Luckily, today's traffic is pretty good.
And more highway traffic means more accidents. The city has reported at least 13 since midnight. Dai Qian, Shanghai Live.
Shanghai authorities have just reported 2 more cases of H7N9 bird flu this evening. 2 men aged 66 and 74. That brings the local number of cases to 8. 4 of those patients have died. Elsewhere, 3 cases including 2 deaths were reported in nearby Zhejiang province. Jiangsu province reported 6 cases and Anhui province 1 case. Authorities have taken several new measures to try to prevent the disease from spreading, including banning the sale of live poultry as of today. Our reporter Wu Yingna has more.
At the city's largest poultry and egg market in Putuo district, there was not a single bird visible this morning. Normally, there are 40,000. The Ministry of Agriculture ordered Shanghai to close all of its live poultry markets and ban all sales as of today. Shanghai has also suspended bringing live poultry into the city, and more than 20,000 birds have been slaughtered.
Our 30 cleaning staff has cleared the market thoroughly, and then the District Center for Disease Control came to sterilize the market.
None of the 200 poultry sellers who have now left the market has reported any illness, and almost all the poultry at the city's wet markets has been slaughtered. One woman said that she didn't mind.
It's understandable because it's responsible for our health. We can eat other things like vegetables and meat.
Nanjing has also closed all of its poultry markets and banned poultry sales. Chinese health authorities say they found no epidemiological link between any of the bird flu cases. They've been monitoring anyone who's been in close contact with the patients, and say the one man who has flu symptoms tested negative for bird flu. Yesterday, agricultural authorities said they'd found the H7N9 virus in 19 more samples from the 738 collected in Shanghai, specifically from suburban Songjiang and Minhang districts. After gene sequence analysis, the National Avian Flu Reference Laboratory concluded that the strain of the H7N9 virus in those 19 samples was highly similar in origin to the one found in a pigeon on Thursday. Wu Yingna, Shanghai Live.
As another way of preventing bird flu, the Shanghai government has also asked zoos and parks to cancel any bird-related shows and keep all of the birds well away from people. Reporter Wu Yingna has more.
At more than 10 bird gardens in the Shanghai Zoo, only a net separates visitors and birds. Today, all were closed.
They should be sterilized, since this entry to the bird garden puts people in close contact with the birds.
Workers put up barriers in front of the Swan Lake to prevent visitors from entering and feeding the birds.
Given the current hygiene situation, I can understand their behavior.
The Shanghai Wild Animal Park also closed 4 bird gardens and sterilized a pigeon coop that is home to more than 400 birds.
We have asked every keeper to monitor the animals' situation in every area. If there's anything unusual, they should report to us at once.
The park has more than 4,600 birds of 76 species. So far, no birds there or anywhere in China have been found to have the newly detected kind of bird flu. Weena, Shanghai Live.
And now let's take a look at some other news around China, including the start of this year's Boao Forum. The 2013 Boao Forum for Asia is underway in southern China's Hainan province. Under the theme of Asia Seeking Development for All, the 3-day session will focus on restructuring Asia's economies in a more sustainable and innovative way. It'll include more than 50 panel discussions involving representatives from 43 countries and regions. China's President Xi Jinping will deliver the keynote speech at tomorrow's opening ceremony. All 150 travelers trapped by heavy snow in the Shennongjia area of China's central Hubei province are now back home again. The snow suddenly hit the area yesterday afternoon and trapped highway travelers in 20 vehicles in an altitude of 1,600 meters. It took 5 hours to get everyone out. Nobody was hurt. A county environmental official in China's northern Hebei province has lost his job after he compared a pollution problem that turned local underground water red to the result of boiling red beans. Villagers say the pollution comes from a nearby chemical plant and say the problem began 11 years ago. The official said just because the well water in the village is red doesn't mean it's unfit for drinking. The county government is investigating the pollution and telling villagers not to drink shallow groundwater or let their animals drink it either. And now international news. It appears foreign diplomats stationed in North Korea's capital are not rushing to leave, despite the North Korean government's warning that it can't guarantee their safety after next Wednesday. Our reporter, Mark Lev, has the story.
As North Korean TV showed the country's leader, Kim Jong-un, inspecting military exercises, North Korea's foreign ministry told diplomats they should consider evacuating embassy employees from Pyongyang and consider leaving themselves in the event of a military conflict. Russia says it is seriously studying the warning.
So far, it's just been a war of words. We want to understand the reasons for this decision. We also asked them whether this is just a proposal or a requirement. We were told that this is only a proposal.
And the U.S. government is publicly downplaying South Korean reports that the North has moved 2 medium-range Musudan missiles to the country's east coast and hidden them.
We've obviously seen the reports that North Korea may be making preparations to launch a missile, and we're monitoring this situation closely, and we would not be surprised to see them take such an action. We have seen them launch missiles in the past.
Japanese analysts say North Korea may have around 50 of the Musudan missiles, but has yet to test them. They're believed to have a range of around 3,500 kilometers, which means they could reach the U.S. territory of Guam in the Pacific Ocean. Mark Leff, Shanghai Live.
No deaths or injuries are reported after a powerful 7.2 magnitude earthquake hit eastern Indonesia this afternoon. The Pacific Tsunami Center says the quake did not generate a tsunami. The U.S. Geological Survey says the quake was centered 75 kilometers under Indonesia's mountainous Papua province. Residents of the provincial capital ran from their houses in panic, and many remained outside fearing aftershocks. The country is in a zone vulnerable to quake that is known as the Pacific Ring of Fire. Authorities in Thane, India say they've ended search and rescue operations after a building collapse that killed 72 people, including 26 children. An 8-story building in a forested suburban Mumbai collapsed on Thursday night, although it wasn't finished yet. As many as 150 people, including some construction workers, were reportedly living in it. Authorities say the structure was illegal. Local news media reported the building was using poor quality construction material and didn't have all the required permits. A spokesman for India's disaster response agency says rescue has pulled one woman alive from the rubble before ending the search and rescue operation today. And that's all for today's edition of Shanghai Live. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.